Stop being a human being. The human being and the form idea of what it means to be a human being is only a conceptual network that is made up of a series of ideas of what we are supposed to be. In fact, these limits that delimit the human have largely been established by the status quo or official science, which tell us what things are and what things are not. And if there are a series of entities external to us that tell us what things are and what they are not, and we have to accept it, where is our free will? Is where a scientific experiment and its interpretation say an absolute truth applicable to all individuals? Or could it perhaps be that in some way they seek to homogenize the data to make it easy manipulated? Why then are there scientific experiments that end up contradicting others? There shall be no problem in questioning the supposed truth that others show. Furthermore, the truth, being the truth, does not need to be explained and demonstrated as it is absolute and self-evident, since the truth simply is, and the truth, being, doesn't seek to convince anyone of what it is, which is the truth. On the other hand, we observe the human being in his state of being human, which is that in which the human being is governed by his ego, and the human being inevitably lies. And this is due to a relationship closely proportional to the state of consciousness in which he lives and lies, but understands this lie as the truth. Therefore, the human being, living a lie within his divided mind through the separate, fragmented, and dual projection of reality, constantly seeks to control what he experiences, trying to explain it, measure it, analyze it, and justify it. Or in other words, when the human being lives the illusion of the lie of his ego, supported by the collective ego, the human seeks to control everything that happens, to find an explanation that confirms his individual perception of reality. But the conclusions reached through these explanations based on the control that the human through his ego wants to exercise over what it is, end up slipping through the fingers of those who try to sustain the unsustainable, as if they were those who try to sustain a handful of sand. The human being in his purely human state, is manipulative, and although humans, in their human state, constantly proclaim in some cases to seek, and in others defend the truth, what they really do is manipulate and try to convince others that their point of view is the correct one and it is the truth, something that the truth will never do, since there is a behavior typical of someone who is governed by a lie and tries to impose it so that it is accepted as the truth. The truth, therefore, is never imposing. Humans, in short, are afraid of ceasing to be human. The human being, deep down, knows that to continue evolving, he must abandon his human state and move towards something higher. But the limits that make up the imposed belief systems that wave the wave of the collective unconscious are strong and have been severally established for the generations in our society. Matthew 13:44-46. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then, in his joy, went and sold all he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. In the lie that we've been made to believe, our attention has been diverted to the outside, making us conceive the material as the only thing that exists, which means that our degree of consciousness has been divided and, therefore, is incomplete, because our attention is constantly focused on the result of the original cause of this result, which is us, our interior. Thereby, since our perception of reality has been fragmented and our focus of attention has been directed towards only one of those fragments, which is the exterior, we look for the answers to things exclusively outside, when, in reality, the external is the consequence of the cause. We look then for the consequence in the cause instead of learning to see the cause and the consequence as the same thing, being in this way that the human being, as we've been made to understand it in the world, is a concept or a constructor that is incomplete, since what is missing in this human structure studied and offered by science is that hidden treasure or that pearl hidden inside us. But, as it is said in Matthew 13, what is that treasure? When we observe what quantum mechanics tell us, we see that all reality that we can perceive is an energetic coding that has as its origin an original point of light that is found in the Higgs field or quantum field. This original point of light is the original pattern of information from which the rest of the subatomic and atomic structures emanate that constitute everything that surrounds us and that we understand as matter. Being the matter, energy collapses into a lower or denser frequency than the original bright frequency that the original point of light is at. And what is inside is outside. So in the same way that the reality that we can perceive and on which we move is composed, this same structure is what is found within us, especially within our mind, since the universe is mental. And there is really no difference between the great mind of the universe and its fractals, which are our individual minds, which means that that treasure found in the field is that shine from which everything is possible. In the quantum field, whether it's either the external one from which physical reality emanates or the internal one which is found in the depths of our mind, everything is an infinite range of quantum possibilities. However, anything that supersedes this treasure or this light that is found in this field or in this quantum void, as long as it is perceived as the real thing and not just the consequence, this will prevent the new, brilliant and fresh that has to sprout to do so. So, we must stop identifying with that which no longer belongs to us or that no longer corresponds to us and abandon it in order to access that treasure. Sell everything to be able to buy that land where the treasure is located and be able to take care of it. Mark 4:26-29. He also said, "This is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seed on the ground, night and day. Whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he doesn't know. All by itself, the soil produces grain. First the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. As soon the grain is ripe, he puts the stickle to it, because the harvest has come." And from these quantum possibilities, we will be able to let it be what it has to be, once we have removed everything that tries to exercise control over what is, in order to let it be the way it has to be. Since it is from this treasure and from its shine from which everything we desires becomes reality and manifest, but never trying to exert control over how it happens. So only those who are capable of having sold their ancient lands, only those who understand the treasure and its shine, will know that what sprouts from that divine and luminous seed does so on its own and breaking with all the established rules of the world. Those rules about what is and about what is not. Therefore, he who finds the treasure abandons everything. He sells all his belongings and leaves his human life behind, acquiring the shine of his inner treasure like his new life, which goes beyond the human. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. The New Alchemist. If I can create, then you can create. If you can do it, then I can do it.